Here's how to use a Cricut to make a welcome mirror sign for dummies like me. First thing you need is obviously a mirror. I got mine off Amazon and this is 71 by 28. Assuming you have a Cricut, you need to download Design Space from the Cricut website. And when you sign up and everything, that's when you can start creating your design. The word welcome and the heart are all images that I got from Cricut. The other text I just typed up and spent the longest time trying to find a good font. And you could resize things as you go, so it doesn't have to be perfect initially. On the side, you could bring in a shape, and I just got a rectangle, and this is where you could resize it. So I really just cared about the width, so I made it the same width as my mirror just to see how all the text would lay out. Then just hide the shape because it's too big to cut. And I also saw the spacing between the names were too large, so I just deleted the space and grouped them together. Think of grouping as grouping the text and then attaching as grouping what you're going to cut. Then just go ahead and make it, and it sections it out and it knows how much fits on one mat. So mine is separated into two separate ones, and you can move things around here depending on how you want it to be cut. I have the Cricut Explore Air 2, and I just want to say for the longest time, I did not know that Cricut was spelled this way. Every single time someone did a DIY project and mentioned the Cricut, I was like, what is that? You'll also need a mat, and the sizing really depends on how big your design is. Keep the plastic layer it comes with so you can stick it back on afterwards because these mats are sticky. Then you'll need vinyl, and think of vinyl as stickers. They're basically big pieces of stickers. So whatever color you want your letters to be is the color of the vinyl you need to get. And I'm still new to using the Cricut. I had to watch a billion tutorials just to understand how to use it. Because the mats are super sticky, I was having the hardest time laying this down. I am not a perfectionist, so I just cut it super crooked, but whatever, it still works. Making sure that everything's flat and there are no bubbles. I'm using this tool, but you can use a card or your hand even. When you're ready to begin, you just put it inside the machine, making sure that it's on and connected to your computer. I turned the dial to Vinyl Plus just to make sure it's cut thoroughly. I think it goes over twice when you have it on that setting. And you also have to make sure there's nothing behind your Cricut. The mat slides through the back, and I had to learn the hard way and broke something when I did it the first time. To start it, it tells you the steps that you need to do. So it should be pretty simple to get it started. You just click that arrow symbol and then that C logo. And the Cricut really is just cutting sticker letters. When it's done, you just press done and it should come out. Or if you need another mat, you just click that arrow button and you load the next mat. So like I said, these are just stickers, so there's a front and back to it. So you should just peel off the top layer. For the longest time, I was so confused on this part. I did not understand what people were doing. And there's probably a more proper way to do this, but I just peel it off with my hands. Now that you see all the letters, you just take out the negative space. This is a Cricut tool that you're easily able to take out the spaces. But honestly, if you have any tool that's sharp like this, it accomplishes the same thing. Now you need transfer tape. Why? It's because you need to transfer the letters somehow, and you can't just pick them up with your hands. I did mine in different sections, so I just cut it up to the size I needed. So the transfer tape is exactly what it sounds like. It transfers the letters onto the tape. As you can see, to get the letters to stick, you need that scraping tool again. Then you lift it all up and it should be attached to the tape. I keep the backing of the transfer tape and put it back on, or else the whole thing would just be sticking to everything. After you have everything you need, that's when you put on the mirror. And honestly, this is the hardest part. I have such a hard time trying to make sure that everything is even and level. If you have any tips for me, let me know, because I already had to restart a different board and it was so tedious. But anyways, after you align it, you just peel off that backing of the transfer tape and you stick it on the mirror, using that scraping tool again to make sure the letters stick to the mirror and not the transfer tape anymore. After spending what felt like hours aligning this, it's finally done. I'm so happy how it turned out. Let me know if you have any questions.